Well, to appreciate the importance and the power of awareness for helping us to understand what really matters in life and to fully experience our journey on the human adventure in all of its richness and wonder. That's what awareness is. In essence, what awareness means is that you all have to pay attention. You have choices of when you pay attention. The past is reliving old memories. The future is worrying about the things that are come to be. The present is living in the moment. Pretty much what it means is y'all have to pay attention. So we have choices on what we're going to pay attention to. Human beings have the unique ability to go on autopilot. Like, for example, everybody, think about when you brushed your teeth this morning. When you were brushing your teeth, were you fully focused on up and down, up and down, up and down, over, over, over?
Yes, I was.
Completely focused on that action, or were you planning your day? That is something that is uniquely human to us, is that we can do these actions, we develop those habits, and we go on autopilot. And that enables us to complete other tasks at the same time as we're doing those things. Scary part is, how many of you remember absolutely everything about your drive to work this morning? Thanks, God.
All 50 yards.
Maybe autopilot, although a useful tool that has helped us to grow as a human being, can also be very dangerous for us if we're not paying attention. Paying attention is not only about what is happening around you. You must also be aware of what is going on inside of you. Trying to lose weight? Focus on what hunger feels like and be aware of when you are eating for the wrong reason. Having an emotional day. I know I do. Focus on what is truly triggering those emotions, and hopefully you can help to contain those and not let them rule your day. Stressed out? Pay attention to which tasks are most stressful and address those first to make the rest of your tasks that day easier. In essence, when we're talking about awareness, what are we focused on, everybody?
Thank you. The first cornerstone of awareness is mindfulness. And Dale Carnegie had this quote: "One of the tragic things that I know about human nature is that all of us tend to put off living. We are dreaming of some magical rose garden over the horizon instead of enjoying the roses that are blooming outside our window today." So you got to be mindful of what's happening around you. Again, defining mindfulness: state of being aware mentally, emotionally, and of your surroundings. Inclined to be aware. Some synonyms is acknowledgement or acknowledge, perception, and understanding. Who knows what the meaning of life is? Well, the Zen master does, and it is pay attention. Oh, my candy goes. We didn't tell you to wear crash helmets today, sorry. So putting it into reality terms of ourselves, if you've got a doctor and a nurse that are actually aware of what the patient is saying, watching the way the patient is reacting, paying attention to the tests that they receive, they're going to receive better treatment. Rather than going through the emotions. It's just another patient. Oh, I'm 5 minutes late. It's just another patient. Oh, I've got to draw some more blood. So be aware of what's happening with that patient.
Pay attention!
Have any of you ever felt angry, guilt, or regret? That means you're living in the past. The past, you can't change it. How about, and I know we're all going through some of this, some anxiety, not because something may fly through out of the air, but because April 1st is just around the corner. Doubt, fear, worry. That means you're focusing on the future. It's coming up. All you can do about the future is prepare, okay? What you need to do is pay attention to your surroundings now. Okay? Don't worry about the past. There's nothing you can do about it, but learn from it. Pay attention to the future so you can be successful, and you have to do that in the present, the here and now. So pay attention to what you're doing at this point in time.
Pay attention!
Oh! Stay in your consciousness. Stay in the here and now, and you'll achieve emotional composure and peace like this guy, who's kind of doing his little meditation. If not, you'll end up like this guy that's not ready for April 1st. Meditech. A little frazzled. Okay? Sometimes the biggest factor is that you feel that things are moving too fast and you can't keep up with it. You've got to keep moving faster and faster. Megan, you got that look on your face like, yes, I do. What do you need to do? What do you need to do to be able to catch up on everything? Prioritize. What?
I said 27 hours.
27-hour day?
Delegate.
We're still working, but our government moves slow enough. I don't think they'll ever change that. First thing is take a deep breath. Okay? Take a deep breath. The next thing you need to do is ask yourself the direction, deflection question. Is what I'm doing at this point in time or what I'm about to do the best thing for me to be doing? If not, what is? Do you have your significant other always pleading for you to do something, and you've got a report to go on to do, or you've got a deadline to reach, or you need to clean? Do the kids want to play? Are they crying because they can't get their homework done, and you feel like this guy in the middle? Ask that question. Am I doing the right thing right now that's going to help me succeed in the future? Katie, you've got 2 kids, right? How many? You have 3 kids, sorry. That's right. How many times do you have toys that have to be picked up, dinner that's got to be made, the house needs to be cleaned, you want to go get your hair done, and the kids want attention?
24 hours a day.
24 hours a day. But if you step back and you take a minute and you sit down and you spend 5 minutes playing with them, 5 minutes teaching them to tie their shoes, or 10 extra minutes of cleaning the house, you feel better about that, you're in a better mindset, and you can move forward and get the rest of your things done. And usually you get those done quicker and in a better way because you're in a better mind yourself. So take that deep breath and ask yourself the question. Why I've been doing all this, I've done that a couple of times and it's really helped. It's hard to get that into your system all the time, but it really helps out quite a bit. You're also dealing with your ego and your soul. What are the differences? Do we like to be egotistical? Not all the time. You shouldn't be. If you listen to your ego, it's loud and demanding. You want to be number one. You've got to beat everybody. You've got to be the best. Drive the fastest. Have the biggest house. What? It's all about yourself, isn't it? But if you listen to your soul, in contrast, it's gentle and giving. Okay? You're not focusing strictly internally and on yourself. You're thinking about the others that you interact with. Okay? Well, listening to the voice of ego, it usually is instant gratification. Right off the bat, you're taken care of. But that isn't always the best because it's short. It falls short. If you listen to your soul, you're looking to the future to be successful. Again, yesterday's a canceled check. Tomorrow's a promissory note. And what's today? Today's cash. Cash in hand is what you want. So be today, see tomorrow. Keeping your attention in the present is the secret to happiness. And keeping your vision in the future is the key to success. So again, that goes back to mindfulness. Okay?
Okay, second cornerstone of objectivity according to Joe Pye. A lot of you have heard this old saying, it's like, when I was a kid, I walked to school uphill, 5 feet of snow, and I got to school, and I walked uphill at home, 5 feet of snow, and I got home, did my chores. It's like, you've all heard that story, that we're all repeating this similar things to our kids. It's like the old timers deal. So, this is what happened when I was a kid. What are we telling our kids now? My kids, like they'll ask you, Dad, did you have electricity when you were a kid? It's like, I didn't think I was that old. I had electricity when I was a kid. I even had television, black and white, but I had television. So, we need to see things as they really are, not as they used to be, as you wish they were, or as you fear they might become, but as they really are. We need to live in the here and now. Little blip here from our Tom Cruise.
You are too concerned with what was and what will be. There's a saying, yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, but today is a gift. That is why it is called the present.
Okay. So history, why do we need history? Because of significant events and contributions to human welfare. We need to have history to learn from. As Santana says, those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it. So we need to learn from the past so that we can become better and not repeat the same mistakes. Our personal history, this is, I wish I could change, go back and say, I wish I could change this one thing, or if I could just learn better and change this one thing. When things happen, whether they're intentional or accidental, it's just life. But we can, if you erase what happened in your past, you erase yourself, you erase your identity, you erase the life that you are creating. Okay? So we just need to learn to be a better person. The past is not always better. Remember back in 1918, we had 50 to 100 million people died from the Spanish flu. Smallpox, Black Plague killed millions of people. Both of them, we still have a little bit of bubonic plague, but not a whole lot. World Wars estimated, the low estimate is 235 million soldiers have died in casualties in the mass conflicts. That doesn't count civilian or collateral damage type thing, and that's a low estimate. Others estimate to be a lot higher. So the history is not always better. Okay? We've come a long ways in history and made improvements. A lot of self-strikes where a lot of people that died 50 years ago are now kept alive by a lot of things we do. The present is a gift, okay? It is a time for living, loving, celebrating, learning, giving, working, serving, becoming you, who you are. Okay? We need to live in the here and now and pay attention to the time that we're in right now, not wishing that we could go back to the good old days back then, what used to be like before.
Pay attention.
Or somebody threw candy at me.
If you don't like the present that you are in, why? There must be a reason. If you don't like the situation you're in now. Life is a compilation of the choices that we make. So we need to make better choices. We need to develop better job skills. We need to work on our relationships, practice delayed gratification so that we're not in debt up to our eyeballs. I can save up for that new gizmo that I want instead of going out and getting in debt right now. We need to decide to become a better you by choice. We need to work on that so we can have a better frame of mind. The future, you cannot live in the future because you never reach it. It's never going to get there. Okay? You can only prepare for it. It's self-defeating to live in the if-only mode. If only I could win the lottery. If only I could find a better spouse. If only my kids would grow up and get out of their house. It's like, you can't live in the if-only mode. You got to live in the present. You got to pay attention to what's going on around you. Try to prepare to be better tomorrow than what you were today, so that you'll have a better tomorrow than you did today. And that is objectivity. Thank you very much. Oh, I forgot one thing. Sorry, I forgot I had Winston Churchill. The quote is, never give in, never give in, never, never, never in anything great or small, large or petty. Never give in, except convictions of honor and good sense. Never yield to force, never yield to apparently overwhelming might of the enemy. Who's our enemy? It's our choices and our attitude. We need to learn to make better choices. We need to be happy, be content, be thankful. Change your attitude, become something better. Objectivity is learn from the past, prepare for the future, but live in the now and in the present.
Presentation. Uh-oh. I swear that's the first time I've done that today. The following events are fictional, but aren't that fictional. Mrs. Traumatized is a patient at Cares a Whole Lot Hospital. She's lost a lot of weight and has not really been feeling well. She never could have children, and her husband passed away several years ago. She's alone. She came to the doctor's office and they performed a blood test. It came up with concerning results. She had an MRI. They found a mass. They performed a biopsy, and she'll be getting that result today.
Mrs. Traumatized, how are you doing today? You doing okay? Well, we've got your test results back. You know, we talked about the radiology work that we did. We did find the mass in there, so we did the lab work. What we've determined, unfortunately, is that you do have cancer. Okay, it's a very aggressive cancer, and through that we've come up with a pretty intense radiology or chemotherapy process that we're going to do to try and kill it off, and then we're going to go back in and see if we can't remove the mass. Now, I know you're here alone today. Do you have anybody that we can call?
We have a code interruption for Dr. What's-His-Face. We have a code interruption for Dr. What's-His-Face.
Okay, I've got to run. That's codes for me, so good luck.
The doctor ran to the emergency room to assist with a car accident that involved 3 young children. He didn't have the opportunity to tell his nurse, who was late that day, the patient's information, and he will be helping in the emergency room with that the rest of the morning. Now, the nurse who was late this morning, her husband this morning told her that he's leaving her for another woman. She was running late and had not been there to greet the patient or talk with the doctor prior to coming in.
Mrs. Traumatized? Oh, I am so sorry I'm late. I cannot believe the day I've had. What do you mean? The life I've had. Anyway, we need to get the vital signs. Oh my goodness. Could you help me? Now, where did that stethoscope go? We need to get the lady in. Oh, just a sec. Let me get my stuff done here, okay? We've got to get the insurance lady in here, and then we'll just get the vital signs, and then you can go ahead and go. Let me go ahead and get the day I've had. Oh my heavens. Thank you.
The nurse, realizing she was in no frame of mind to be at work today, did go up to the front desk and tell them that she needed to take the rest of the day off. Meanwhile, the office clerk needs to verify some information, but she has great news. Her daughter just gave birth to her very first grandchild. As soon as she's done getting the information verified, she gets to go hold her very first grandchild for the very first time.
Mrs. Traumatized? I'm Sherry with the business office. I just need to verify your information. We're getting a new system. It's Meditech, and we've been working day and night to make sure this progress is in place and top notch. And so I need to make sure everything's correct, or I'm going to have to submit a ticket. Okay. Do you live at 123 Main Street? Okay, and is your phone number 307-885-1234? Okay, perfect. It shows that you're insured by We Pay for Anything Insurance. Is that correct? Okay, great. Well, it looks like we do have everything in the system perfect and the way we need it, so I thank you for your time. Well, no, I've got to go, but the nurse isn't going to be able to come back in either, so you can go home now if you want, and we'll talk to you again soon, okay? All right, thanks.
All of the staff who worked with this patient are now busy doing other things. She's now alone in the room.
Oh, I didn't know you were in here. The room was empty. I'm sorry. Can I just empty the garbage? Sure. Are you okay? No. No, are you here? What can I do to help you? I can't.
The housekeeper housekeeper was diagnosed with cancer a year and a half ago. She went through treatment and has been in remission for 6 months. She sits with Mrs. Traumatized for a half hour, talking with her about her experience. By the time Mrs. Traumatized leaves, she is feeling more confident and feels ready to deal with the rough road ahead. She plans to beat cancer. So this was a fictional, but not so fictional story, as I said. Each character was going through different things in their lives. Some were good, some were absolutely horrible. They're still there. Others were caught up in a more dire situation, like the doctor in the emergency room. But it only took one person, and it was that housekeeper at the end who had empathy that took this terrible situation with this individual feeling a lot of fear to make her okay. You know, it just took that one person to show empathy. Joe Tai talks a lot about the proper way to achieve empathy is more than just walking in somebody's shoes. You have to actually listen to what they're saying. Did you know that 55% of our communication is entirely in gestures, that nonverbal communication? So that's the smile, the frown, the tense arms crossed, all of those things. We're giving off cues at all times about our communication. So that's 55%. 38% of it is tonal. So I'm having the worst day of my life. Doesn't really portray. Or I'm so happy. It's not the same. You know, so a lot, that 38% is tonal. It's how we say it versus what we're saying, which leaves such a small percent. 7% is what we actually are saying. That's our communication. So a lot of times we have to look beyond the words that are being said to really understand what's going on. That's where the empathy really comes into play, is looking at somebody and really coming at them and learning what they're going through that skill of communication. We all have empathy. We wouldn't work at the hospital if we didn't. Let's be honest. The issue is that sometimes life throws us curveballs, and we can't handle being empathetic for somebody when we're having a hard time ourselves. And the key is that we have an amazing team at Star Valley Medical Center. At least in my part, I do, and I've seen it in so many other parts of the hospital. We need to turn to our teammates when we're having a bad day and we know that this person is giving off all the cues that they need help. We need to turn to our teammates and say, I can't handle this right now for my own reasons. Can you please step in? This person needs help. And as a teammate, I'm certain that they would say yes. And so that's really what I want to take you guys to take away with this. You know, have empathy, recognize the signs, and if you can't handle it, that's okay. Just ask for help. So, thanks.
I'm looking for an ugly duckling. I'm looking for an ugly duckling. Has anybody seen one? No, you haven't, because Star Valley Medical Center doesn't have any ugly ducklings. Okay? We are all a swan inside, or on the outside. Okay? And we're just trying to get them to come out. Okay? They're trying to get out and fly. So today I'm going to talk about the fourth cornerstone, which is reflection. Many of us, how many of us in here take reflection? How many of us, how many of us take time for self-reflection? Do we take time for ourselves? We work in a fast-paced environment where we're always doing for others. But what about ourselves? Okay? Joe Tai talked about the golden hour. The first 30 minutes in the morning and the last 30 minutes of the day should be time for reflection for ourselves. So, how many of you do that? Show of hands? Ooh, a couple. Okay. All right. Well, let me ask you this. What are some ways that we can take time for ourselves, either in the morning or in the night, or both? What are some ways? Ideas?
Take a bath.
Exercise. Somebody keeps wanting to
Yeah,
take a bath. Okay? There's There's all sorts of different ways that we can take time for ourselves and reflect. We need to recharge our batteries in order to help those in need. Okay? So we need to remember that. It's important. I don't do it. I'll admit that. And there's times I probably really should. No one has ever said on their deathbed that they wish they spent more time watching TV, more time shopping at Walmart, going to the casinos. Nobody's ever said that. Reflection can help us focus our time and our energy on things that really matter. But do you know what? You will never find time for reflection. Never. We need to make the time. Also, during our reflection time, we're recharging ourselves, but are we aware of others? Do we have our blinders on? Do we judge the ugly duckling before knowing, truly knowing if they are a swan, either on the inside or the outside? How many of you remember this ugly duckling? Or was she just a swan in disguise?
Gotta get to the commercial first.
Hi, what's your name, Johnny?
My name is Susan Boyle.
Okay, Susan, where are you from?
I'm from Blackburn near Blackgate, West Lothian.
That's a big town.
It's a sort of collection of villages. That's a thing there.
And how old are you, Susan?
I am 47. And that's just one side of me.
Okay, what's the dream?
I'm trying to be a professional singer.
Why hasn't it worked out so far, Susan?
I've not been given the chance before, but here's hoping it will change.
Okay, and who would you like to be as successful as?
Elaine Page.
Elaine Page. What are you going to sing tonight?
I'm going to sing I Dreamed a Dream from the Miserables.
Okay, sing song.
Yeah. Yeah.
I dreamed a dream in time gone by.
You sing next to that, did you? Did you? No.
Some of those people did. Was she an ugly duckling? Yeah, we thought so. Alright, so we are all swans. Okay? Awareness is ultimately the essential skill that determines whether we see the opportunities that life presents to us, how well we relate to the people who come into our lives, and the peace and harmony that we can create in our own life and in the lives of others. So, at Stark Valley Medical Center, there's no ugly ducklings. All I see is swans.
We'll do an encore presentation at the end if you want to watch the video. Again, our core action value for March is awareness, and it's supported by mindfulness, objectivity, empathy, and reflection. Okay? So the theme throughout the day is the past is the past. All you can do is learn from it and improve on it in the future. The future hasn't happened yet, so don't worry about it, but plan on it and do what you can today to be successful for it. Okay? So we want you to watch one more video.
kid, every time I'm pulling out, he's right there. Man, someone needs to talk to his parents if they're ever home. What is up with the traffic today? I mean, always, every day, this intersection's always crowded. I hate pulling out of here. I need some of these dumb roads. Oh, there's... Okay, so I'm not even here. Right. Great lady. The princess of parking. Sure. Take the spot. Way to be considerate. Oh. Kidding me? Unbelievable. Oh. About time. Let's see, what do I want? Yeah, can I add a cookie to that order? Yeah, no problem. Yeah, no problem, only guy in the world. I'm sure you need your cookies. The world, your oyster, and he's serving your cookies. Thank you so much. I'll take it for you. Yeah, I'll be getting one, yeah. Sure, no problem. It's really fine. And it might take a few minutes here. We've got quite a line, obviously, and thanks for your patience. Great. Yeah, great. Great for me. Winning again. Unbelievable. What? What? What is that? What in the world? Oh. What am I supposed to do? How can I do anything about that? Can I even help with that? Oh. Your copy, sir. I can't take this anymore. I gotta get out of here. Hey, what? Hey, buddy, come here.
So this next month, again, we're getting ready for Meditech. We're getting eager for spring. It's just around the corner. Think about awareness. Be mindful of your surroundings. Think and act objectively. Show empathy. Don't be empathetic. And reflect on what you can do now to succeed in the future. So, thank you very much.
Good. So, Joel, you're back up here.
Back up here.
Yes.
And you're done with me.
Yeah.
First off, employees, excuse me, been talking a lot today. Foundation Scholarship Fund. If you remember, about a year ago, the foundation came and said, look, we would like to offer scholarships for all of the graduating seniors of our employees. So as employees, you could donate to the foundation, that money would be set aside, and then we'd have them go through and do applications. Well, it's been a year. We've raised almost $4,000, so thank you guys very much for that. So, starting March 17th, we'll have applications available. Pam Wolfley will have those. The students will have a month to complete those and get those back to Pam. The foundation has set up a subcommittee that's going to look at those. It's going to be on their academics GPA type of classes they've taken. It's also going to look at involvement in school, out of school, and then also financial need. And then they'll be taking those applications and dividing the money up how they see fit for it to go out. So if you'd like to help, you know, we still have a little bit of time before that money's going to go out. You're welcome to either make a one-time donation through a payroll deduction or just a check, either way, or do a payroll deduction for now for however long you'd like. And, you know, if you do $1, it's $52 a year that you don't see that goes into this fund. So it's up to you guys. But thank you very much. And if you've got graduating seniors, again, March 17th, come see Pam, and she'll have that information for you as well. And this is strictly going to our employees' kids. It's not going anywhere else. Okay, those are the only ones that are available for this scholarship. Yeah, we're going to keep it going. You know, unless everybody stops donating, then we'll stop. But it's a good thing to help the group.
Can it be for employees' siblings? Or just for kids?
Just the kids, yeah, just the ones that are graduating from Star Valley High School and Swift Lake High School.
Okay, I just know that there's people who are employees here who have siblings and seniors,
Right.
so that's what I'm wondering.
Yeah, no, they're just doing the kids right now. Yeah, some we'll talk about again and see, but they're just going to focus on the kids. So. Second thing, any other questions? Those are good questions, by the way. So, second thing down for me is the MARS training. I want to thank you guys very much. During the time frame that we had the MARS set up, out of the 176 people that we've got employed, all but 41 people got it done during that time frame. And so they've been having to do a little harder time to get it done electronically. So we're just about there with that. There are a few questions. Do you guys think we grade the tests? We look at them. We don't just do them and throw them in a file box. We look at them, there are some questions that were consistently missed by people. And so we kind of do a little bit of retraining for that. First of all, if you have an IT question or an IT problem and your computer is not spitting parts out, spinning and smoking and so forth, or you don't have a patient waiting there that has to be helped, what do? Submit a ticket. It's an orange little box with a white circle thing on it. Submit a ticket. Clayton will get on it as quick as he can. Obviously, if it's an emergency, call down there. 5544 is the extension. If you have to, page IT. Don't page a particular person, but page IT. But submit a ticket is always the first thing. Where is your MSDS found? On the computer. It's a little blue square with a white question mark on it. We had a bunch of people that said it's on the top shelf behind the nurse's station. It's not there. Okay? It hasn't been there for over a year. About a year and a half. So it's not there. It's that little, it's on any desktop. Blue square with a white question mark on it, okay? The MRI, is it a magnet or does it use radioactivity? It's a magnet. That's why you can't take metal in the room. Okay? So it's a magnet. HIPAA. There's a question on there. HIPAA applies to all forms of, I had people write down, nurses, doctors, chiropractors, dentists. Well, it applies to written, electronic, and spoken patient information. Okay, that's what it's looking for. So, yes, everybody has to adhere to it, but that's what it's referring to as well. The last thing is this incident commander. If there's an evacuation, if there's a disaster, if there's a fire in the hospital, who becomes the incident commander? The charge nurse on the med surg floor until either the fire department, maintenance, administration shows up and then they take over. Now, if you're in a clinic, who becomes the incident commander? Senior admissions clerk, whether it's the clinic here in Afton, the clinic across the street at physical therapy, unless Billy, you're all alone, you take it and run with it. Thane and Alpine as well, okay? So any other questions from the Mars or about the Foundation Scholarship? All right, thank you.
Okay, thanks, Joe. Calvin, you're up.
Hi, Jay. You have the cushion chair.
Calvin hasn't shaved in since
Starting Monday, next Monday, we're going to have a oatmeal bar. It's free to anybody who wants to come up between the hours of 6 and 8. We're using real bowls and silverware to cut costs, so if you guys can stay up here and eat, that'd be awesome. That way we can wash your dishes and have our dishes for, you know, loads of other people that are going to show up. But I'm pretty sure these guys are going to be here, right?
6 and 8, no?
Well, we might go a little longer depending on how many people we have coming towards the end.
Did you say that every day?
Every day, starting Monday.
Weekends?
Weekends, I left leaving it up to the cooks that are working on the weekends because it's a larger hassle for them. So I said, if you guys are willing to do it, which I'm sure they will because they make enough cereal anyway. So Saturdays, Sundays.
Did you say free?
Free? I said free.
Yeah, okay. He gets to say the fun stuff.
I know, I always do fun stuff.
All right. Physician recruitment update. I just want to let everybody know, and I think some of you do know, we have 2 openings. We have a OBGYN opening. That's a new position for our hospital. I think, well, there was one several years ago. It's new for several years, just several years. And we've had a really good interview this last weekend on Monday to somebody from Colorado, and that looks very promising. But we also have another interview this coming weekend on Monday. So it's hopefully soon we will have a decision and have somebody that can come on board, because I know the community is very much anticipating an OBGYN in our community. So that's a good thing. And then the other position we have is a general surgeon, and we've interviewed some candidates, but to this point we haven't found the right fit. So we are actually using a recruiter to help us do that. And we figure in the next 7 to 10 days we'll probably have more applicants that we'll review. And so we're moving down that process as well. So hopefully soon we'll have some answers. And so I know it's taken a lot of my time, but it's also important to get the right positions and complement our great medical staff that we currently have. So. Okay. Meditech.
You skipped me.
I did skip you. Come on up.
That's all right.
We need a cushion between Kelvin and you.
Yeah, all the hard stuff.
Yeah, you have the negative stuff.
All right, as many of you know, we're going to be doing random drug tests and post-accident drug tests. And that is going to be effective March 1st. So please be aware of that. With the post-accident testing, the thing that you need to be aware of is if you have an accident, if you contribute to an accident that seriously damages a vehicle, machinery, equipment, or property, and or results in an injury to yourself or another employee requiring medical attention, you have 2 hours following the accident to get a drug test. So it's important to make sure that you do that and make sure that you inform everybody else that you know that if they have that happen, they need to have the drug test within those 2 hours. And if you can do it sooner, great. And then on random drug testing, I'm not going to tell you when we're going to start that because it's already random. But the thing with the random drug testing that you need to know is that as soon as you're notified, you'll be notified by HR. Somebody will escort you down to the lab to do the drug test, and you'll have to do it immediately following notification. And if you're, say for example, you're in a case in surgery or something, and obviously you can't just leave the case and go do the drug test. You have to take every step following that case has to lead to getting you to the lab. So it's not something that I mean, it's going to be inconvenient. It's not going to be easy, just leave your job thing to do. It's going to be an inconvenience to you. So I do apologize for that in advance, but we do have to do it this way in order to keep it random. So.
How many people a month are you going to be random?
We haven't come up with a definite number, but I've looked at anywhere from 25 to 50%. It just depends on
25 to 50% of the employees.
Yeah. So
not per month, per year.
No, yeah, not per month. No, year and so. It's really kind of a safety thing. Safety is a big part of it. I mean, we have a lot of safety sensitive positions. We have a lot of opportunity for drug abuse. If you look at, and I'm not trying to accuse anybody or anything or say that we have a problem, but nurses typically have a higher drug abuse than other groups of people, so there's a safety issue there. And I would just say that it also helps us with our workers' compensation. Workers' comp actually gives us some pretty substantial discounts for doing a drug testing policy, because they like to see that companies are taking affirmative action to make sure that their employees aren't at risk or putting patients or other people at risk. So.
What happens if you find somebody that's positive?
If somebody is found to be positive, there can be disciplinary action that's taken. It can be disciplinary up to and including termination. But we do want to work with people. So with that being said, if somebody has a problem and they're willing to come and talk to us about it beforehand, we have an employee assistance program that's available, and we want to make sure that this is not a negative thing, but that we can help prevent future safety incidents, and that we can help people move forward. But we're not going to be able to, support it if somebody has an addiction. We'd like to help them, but we can only give them so many chances. Basically, what I'm trying to say. So
I have people coming to me about dietary intake of things like poppy seeds and hemp hearts and things like that.
Yeah.
Do those?
So as far as that goes, the sensitivity of our lab, I talked to Jody about that today, and he said that you'd have to eat like a handful of poppy seeds right before, and even if we had a positive test, we would want to send that out and have somebody else look at it just to verify that positive test.
What about hemp hearts?
Hemp hearts?
Yeah, they're hemp protein. Yeah.
Is that
good for us?
Yes,
No, it's not good for you. It's witch medicine.
Is that like
No.
Yeah, so anything that comes up, you're gonna want to just let the lab know what's, or if you are worried about something, let them know beforehand so they can be prepared for that. I don't think hemp brownies are.
Well, it's just funny because I was looking at salad parts that it's all hemp hearts on it. Cause a positive of drug test. I thought, I doubt it.
I've never heard of hemp hearts, but. So.
Hemp protein powder, but I think by the time it's gone through its process, it doesn't test out as.
It's not like you're smoking it. I think
What's that?
Hemp does not contain SVMC.
Okay, there we go.
Your spot.
Yeah, just don't take any trips to Colorado or Washington.
Or California.
Or California. All right. Any other questions? All right.
You got everybody woken up anyway.
Yeah.
All right, Chad, you're up.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about the drug called Meditech. Everybody's going to be positive. Okay, this coming week, Tuesday morning, Meditech will be offline, and it will be the only time it will be offline from now until eternity, okay? But they got to take it down for a while to do some updates and things on it. So Tuesday morning, you won't be able to get in and do any testing or anything like that. For, I think Eli said 3 to 4 hours. So maybe by noon, she'll be able to get back in and play around with it. And then on March 3rd, which I think is Wednesday, they're going to convert all of our test data over into the live database. So all the dictionaries that you've been building and such will go into the live, it will go into the live conversion. And once that happens, if you need to make any changes in a dictionary or any of your data, you'll have to do it in both systems, the test system and the live system, because those two systems need to stay in sync before we go live on April 1, okay? And how many of you have been in Meditech so far? It's about what I've seen, about 70% I think of the employees at least have been in it some bit one way or another. I know Mike Kentner's been training a lot of folks in the last few weeks.
And 2 CNAs and I think 5 nurses out of all the staff left that haven't been trained.
So they've been hitting it hard lately. So this next month, if you have anything to do with Meditech, you will definitely have some training coming. And April 1, of course, is the cutover date. Some of you that have been in it, you may be seeing things a lot different than what you've done in the past. It's a completely different system. Processes will probably be changing in some areas because of the system. You may be looking at it and saying, well, wait a minute, I could do this in 1 step in the old system. You're telling me I got to do 2 and 3 steps now? That may happen to some folks. You've got to look at the whole picture, not just our particular area, that this system is an improvement on what we have. And if it causes more steps maybe in one area, by the time it gets to the end, it is more efficient data and been more efficient through the whole system. And so we need to stay together in this process, folks, and be positive about it. And because this next month, I guarantee you, I know there's frustration now. I mean, I just came from Meditech, but I'm excited. I'm ready to get going with it because this year has been a long year, and it's just I'm ready for April 1 to come and just get in and do it. And yeah, we'll have hiccups. I mean, I've never seen a perfect conversion, and we need to stick together during the conversion and be positive about it. And the end result is, I truly feel will be a good result. When I've gone through conversions before, it's not April 1, we're all going to be happy. It's like, yes, this is working perfect. It's going to take some time for you to see how this system really works and benefits you and the company. And it may be 6 months, but I can probably guarantee a year from now, the big majority of us are going to say, yes, I like this system. I'm glad we did it. All of your anxiety should be gone by then. But it will, it'll take some time because the flow of things takes time. And change is hard. I mean, I don't know very many people that like change. And in order for a person to progress and improve themselves, sometimes they have to make a change, don't they? And it's the same with a business, an organization. In order to change and progress and stay one of the top 100, we have to make some changes. And Meditech is one of those. And so we appreciate all your sweat and agony and frustration, and we realize it's there. And but we know you're a great group of folks that will be able to conquer that and move forward with this conversion. Because it's, anybody know how many days away?
34.
Somebody's off. So it's getting closer. And so, any questions? Okay. Rah-rah team.
Thanks, Chad. I just want to go back to our 12 core action values. So we just working on awareness this month. We just see courage, perseverance, and faith. So I think they're lined up pretty well for how we deal with meditation stress. Okay, Mike, you're up.
Thank you. I love change. Do you love how that tunnel has changed over the last couple of days? It's nice. It smells better. It's warmer. It doesn't smell. Somebody told me it smelled like a dairy barn before. Now it smells like new carpet, right? It smells like new carpet. So I want to give you a little bit of an update on the construction, like what's going on there. The orthopedic clinic will open for business on Monday, March 3rd.
It's not working very good.
And so we've got 2 or 3 days of lots of work to get us there. And I want to tell some people thanks. I want to tell the maintenance guys thanks for all their work. I want to tell the housekeepers thanks for going in there and cleaning all those layers of dust off. And I want
tell the contractors thanks, and all of you, thank you for your patience in all of this process of going through that. We've spent a substantial amount of money over there, and we've got a beautiful clinic, and it's going to be a showcase for Star Valley Medical Center. So I'm excited about that. So March the 3rd, we'll put up some redirection signs temporarily for people to get used to knowing how to get over to the clinic. And we'll make sure that, you know, and please keep your awareness heightened a little bit as you see people looking for the clinic maybe, or trying to get the x-ray from the clinic. Give them some direction if they need it. I know they would appreciate it. So that's what's going on with the ortho clinic. Tomorrow sometime the signs are going up on the roof, so keep an eye out for that. It's going to look really nice. Of course, the MRI is finished, and now we're trying to finish the UPS and generator building and all of those components. You might have seen the generator going down through the roof of the building here a few days ago. And so that over the course of the next 30 days, that project will be wrapped up, and we'll have good backup power and good clean power for all of our major sensitive equipment in the hospital, so you don't have to spend a lot of money on repairs. Right, ladies? Yeah. In the radiology department, yeah, we don't want to have to spend tens of thousands of dollars in repairs anymore because of power bumps. So that's a good thing. Let's talk a little bit about the new expansion project, the new emergency department, and the new updated, remodeled, and expanded surgery department. Yesterday, the Board of Trustees approved the expenditure of the money, $8.8 million, to build this new facility, add on to our current facility, and we're excited about that. We have contractors lined up and subcontractors we've let the bids to everybody, and I think we're going to get started about March 15th. And the first thing that'll occur, we've got to relocate some gas lines and fiber optic cable out of the parking lot where the ER is going to be. So that'll be the first thing to occur. So you'll see some trenching here. There'll probably be snow in the fields while we're trenching, but we've got some ways to heat the frost in the ground up and get some of that work done right away. Then by the magic date, April 1st, we should be digging a hole in the parking lot out there on the west end of the radiology hallway to make room for the new emergency department. So let's talk about parking a little bit for employees. Since the parking lot, part of our parking is going to be turned into an ER. So anybody who has been parking in that small parking lot on the west end of the radiology hallway, that won't be available to you forevermore. Now, the parking lot by the helipad, that one will remain available clear through construction. It's going to always be available. We'll maintain that one as a parking lot for employees. The one in the back, point the right way. The one in the back over here will remain open, and we've had some of that closed this winter for construction of the UPS building, but that'll all be opened up again. The parking lot we put gravel on last year west of the sleep lab, that'll be available for parking. I know it's covered with, half of it's covered with big piles of snow right now, but that'll be all available for parking. So I don't think there'll be a shortage of parking. When we applied for our building permit from the town of Afton, our facility required 172 parking spaces. We have currently 178 parking spaces, and that doesn't even include that new lot that we built by the sleep lab. So we've got plenty of parking for everyone. You might have to walk just a few steps further than you're normally used to, but you might need to get used to that because parking is bound to change over time here at Star Valley Medical Center. So there has been some question about, pardon me, ER access once we start the construction. How is a person who just comes by in their own car, how are they going to get to the ER? And then, of course, there's the big question about how's an ambulance going to arrive at the hospital and those patients get to the ER. And we're working on those plans right now, and we'll share those with you here in the next few weeks and make sure everyone is aware of what the plans are, so that when we do have ambulances come and we do have patients who have ER emergency needs, we can help by working through the plan that we have. And I think we've got a good plan, and we'll have it ready to share with everybody so they're helping. Any questions about any of that? Kathy?
I know it's an out of sight, possibly out of mind area, but the basement of the orthopedic clinic, what shape is it in? Where we store everything?
What shape is it in?
Yes. Can we get there?
Rectangle.
My mother's garage for 4 months has been the storage for all the decorations and bins for the care center, because I can't even get stuff down.
Well, it's very close to being available again. There is a substantial amount of cleanup that needs to be done down there. And a lot, I'm sorry, I hope I don't offend anybody, a lot of that stuff's going to get chucked and thrown away into the dumpster. There's a lot of stuff that's been down there for years and years and never been used. So we're going to sift through it all. We're going to rearrange a lot of things. What was the apartment will become storage space too. And so there'll be some expanded storage down there. You know, IT has some storage needs, and some other departments have some specific storage needs. So we'll get that cleaned up and rearranged and stuff thrown in the dumpster, and then we'll be able to move the things for the care center down. Yes. I can't guarantee you when. I'm going to say in the next couple of months we should have that, so that it's available. Yes?
Do you have any projected idea of when the completion of the new...
We're anticipating about 16 months from April 1st, so October 1 of 2015. Yeah. I think that's a pretty good estimate, September, October 2015.
Mike, is that both projects, or will the ER open first?
The ER will have to open first in order for us to finish the OR. So it'll be done in phases. The ER will, of course, we're going to build the old ER, we've got to finish the new one first. So it'll be phased maybe a year before the new, or 10 months before the new ER is done, and then 6 months before the rest of it's finished. There's one other thing I need to tell everybody, and that's about the annual blood draw. We've changed how we're doing that, and this change is based on, I told you I like change. This change is based on our doctor's recommendations and input. So in the past, we've done blood draws in March and April and May, and it's all been kind of crazy around here for a few months getting blood draws for people. We've changed that now that you can come anytime throughout the calendar year, one time a year, and get your blood draw. It doesn't have to be asking for a voucher, because they'll sign a voucher for you that they will recommend which tests you should have. So that I told the other groups that in the past, some of the people have just marked everything, and even some of the ladies were marking a PSA. And so your doctor is going to recommend for you what tests you should have. If you haven't been to your doctor for 2 or 3 years, he or she is probably going to want to see you before they recommend your tests. But if you've been in the last several months, call them up. They'll sign a voucher for you. You can get it, take it to the lab anytime you want, and they will do a blood draw for you. The results of the test will go to the doctor and come to you as well, and you can make a follow-up appointment and cover the results of the test with your physician. So that's the changes. Now there is one additional thing, and of course, like as always, the one, Joel, help me again with the words on the payment.
Chem panel.
The Chem panel is free of charge to our employees. Anything additional to the Chem panel is at the discounted price, but you have to pay for that in addition. So there is another thing that we're doing this year to kind of enhance this blood draw thing and encourage people to find out more about their own health. At the Health and Safety Expo on June the 7th, which is going to be at the Lincoln County Fairgrounds, you could walk in there. Jody's staff and some of the clinic staff will be there to to give a blood pressure check, a BMI check, a blood glucose level check, and a cholesterol level check, free of charge. And you can get the results while you wait. So if you want to mill around and see the Health and Safety Expo for a few minutes, you could go back and then you'd have your results. So we're going to do that for the public, and any of our employees who'd like to do that can do that as well too. So that's kind of how we're changing that this year.
That's free to the public as well?
Yes, it will be. Yeah.
Mike,
Yes.
so for our employees, if we need to get a voucher from the doctor, we can call our doctor and ask for a voucher. Is that the same for the public?
Yes, it is.
They can just call, and then their doctor will decide whether or not they need to come in for a visit.
Yeah, when Heidi was here earlier this morning, when we were talking about it, she said to me, "You just have to call and ask. You don't have to come in and have an appointment and pay for a visit. Just call and ask." And we've kind of left that up to each individual provider. If you haven't been to see, if Dr. Carter's your doctor and you haven't been to see him for 5 years, he's probably going to want you to come in and see him before he gives you the voucher, which is better for you too. So he knows how your health is, and so he knows what tests to order for you. So this is more of, in many ways, our doctors feel like the Wyoming Health Fair thing has been kind of a disservice to the public, because you really don't know what tests you should have, and you think that's, in many cases people think, oh, I got my blood fair done, my health fair done, I'm good, there's nothing out of the ordinary, I don't need to go see my doctor. And our physicians feel like they need to provide a little better service than that here in Star Valley.
So that's how we explain it to people who are, there's people in the community that are like, no, it's just a ploy, they just want our money.
So I would say to them, you're very welcome to come and get a general health screening at the Health and Safety Expo free of charge. Blood pressure check, cholesterol, glucose, those are the three major ones that physicians are worried about, those three. And the general public should be worried about those three too. And if they think we're trying to extract money from them, say, hey, come get it for free at the Health and Safety Expo. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, any other questions, comments? Yes, go ahead.
Okay, really quick, for integrity, everybody put their ballots in. Some of you were chased down to turn in ballots, but we got over 34 nominees. 10 of those nominated were nominated multiple times. 2 of them were very close, and our winner is Mr. Integrity, Jody Skinner, who is not here right now, but he has tried on his crown.
Who was there? It's just one.
Mr. Orland.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So next month, make sure you turn in your ballots, so I don't have to come chase you in.
Okay, any other questions, comments?
Charlie, I wanted to mention, if anybody has a few minutes, either tomorrow or Friday, that can help us move some orthopedic clinic stuff, you can, if your supervisor.
Surgery crew is all available. Would be
And I have talked to Judy, and she's bringing some people. But we got to put furniture together, we got to move boxes and put bookcases together and that kind of thing. So.
Are we planning an open house so that we can see?
Yes, we are. The open house is March 18th from 5:30 to 7 p.m. We'll be advertising that, and I'm sure Kelvin will provide some treats over there. And it'll be nice. You should come and see it because it's a beautiful thing. Thanks.
Okay. Anything else? We have a drawing?
So Charlie, is Douglas a top 20 hospital? Did you ever find out?
Yeah, how are we doing with our competition with
Yeah, well, no, they are not a top 20 hospital, they're a top 100. And so they're not a top 20. And our competition, it has gone to the judges last week, because we actually, 2 weeks ago. So, because we met up with one of the judges in Phoenix, and they said that they just got that information. So they got our presentation that Pam put together. I mean, a lot of us put it together, but she was the main one putting it all and put a lot of work into it. Plus, we had, what was it? How many pages that Joel and you put together on a?
They didn't, they thought our presentation we gave them was gonna be too long and they wouldn't watch it. We also think Douglas didn't do anything, so, Joe put together a 11 question questionnaire that he just wanted us to fill out. It ended up being about 15 pages long, and we inserted pictures into it and everything as well. We were being authentic. And so we sent that along and did, in there we let him know that he needs to provide both of those to the judges and they can determine if they have time to watch it or not.
So hopefully soon. I guess that's the answer, the long answer, but hopefully soon.
I guess the second part of the answer is the competition is done. Douglas has decided not to move on for the second year.
Are they not enjoying it as much as we are?
They're not buying it.